some civil society organizations are raising issues that there are not enough measures in place to fix our failure to tackle our debt crisis, and they fear we may be headed back to the IMF if we do not fix this. Ben Boakye, he is Executive Director of the Africa Center for Energy Policy. He spoke to us in the US where the annual IMF World Bank spring meetings took place.
Countries are in distress. The World Bank and the IMF are failing to acknowledge that we are in crisis, primarily because the big countries are not involved in the crisis that we are seeing in our country. So civil society and other groups that think that countries in the global south are in crisis, and we need to acknowledge that. And that requires a quicker resolution to some of the debt problems that we do have in these countries. And to be able to do that, we need fair treatment. I mean, we had some of the panel discuss how decisions tend to be quicker when they have to deal with debt situations in bigger countries like Korea or Greece. But in Africa's case, the common framework that has even been set to be able to address issues much quicker is still not working. So we then need to have a fairer system of ensuring that when problems arise, we can deal with them much quickly than we are doing now. And beyond that also are the issues of sustainability and accountability in how debt procurement happens and what they are actually used for. And civil society is pretty interested in having conversations with governments to be sure that when we borrow, when we generate revenue, those revenues are used much more effectively to chart a sustainable path. So rather than just talking about the debt and how debts can be restructured or forgiven, we have to also look at the sustainability of our economies, all right, into a future where it's not going to be another 3 years of coming back to the IMF or another 4 years of coming to the IMF. And you saw the panel say, I mean, Sri Lanka and Ghana has gone to the IMF 17 times. Zambia has done it for 13 times. So some may want to even predict that this is just another short-term measure, and then we're just back to the IMF. So how do we address those issues sustainably? By looking at our governance systems, our institutions, our political establishments, to ensure that they remain accountable and measured in how they procure debt and how they finance development.
In the Ghana situation, have you been convinced about the never again in terms of the structures, the structural reforms to ensure that we don't get here? I mean, we had the civil societies, other interest groups that raised the red flags, but it appears government didn't listen. Do you think that going forward, the never again, or listen, you still have some consent?
No, so this is how we are framing it. The never again has to be a conversation, not just from the political class, but all of us agreeing that we have to do things right so that we can be sustainable in the way we manage our economies.
Ben Boakye, Executive Director, ASAP, there speaking to George Afe in Washington, D.C. That's the market.